Yep.
That doesn't, now can we see the,
You have to,
I have to find them again.
there's, it says, there's stuff.
Where did they go?
participants, if you click that on the top. No? Maybe is that under more as well?
See anything?
What happened to them?
Y'all are there, right?
On my end, it says it's recorded.
What if you hit that little talking thing to the right, like that little box on the far
Right
right?
here?
No, on the very far
Right
right,
where it says talking Julie Peterman all the way over. on
all the way to the right.
Edge of the screen,
To the right.
Yeah, right
here.
there. There, I bet you that's it.
and then hit the, yep,
There's Jose.
there we go.
There we go.
There's
There we go.
There
everybody.
they are.
Okay,
So now I can call the meeting to order.
yes, you can.
And we'll go ahead and just skip the approval of the minutes. Do the election of the officers, and the first item up is the election of the chair.
So Corey, you're currently the chair,
I'm currently the chair, and I think Jim, are you
you're vice chair.
vice chair?
Are you guys happy with that, or you wanna? Jim, do you wanna make a move for opponent?
It doesn't matter to me, whatever you guys
Okay.
want. I'm more than happy to continue, or if you want to have somebody else, it really doesn't matter to me.
I would, I-
Motion to continue with Corey as the chair.
and we could do it as a slate, and if you're
Yeah.
interested in vice chair, we could do it as a slate, and what I understand it is, we don't need a second on any of those, but we can wait to see if there's any others from the floor, any other nominations from the floor.
Okay.
Any
So
other,
Jim, you made a mo, or you're moving to nominate Corey?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I nominated Jim. So we can vote on him as a slate of candidates.
Unless Jose-
You nominated
and then
Jim for vice chair.
Yeah.
Okay, we have them separated out,
Okay. we
On the
can do that.
agendas.
Okay,
so just to be formal.
we can be formal.
Yeah, but I will note that.
Well,
you
of
are-
course. Okay, well, that's okay. That gives people a chance to vote on, independently.
so what do we have to do next?
Nothing, we're just voting on chair.
Oh, okay.
There are no other nominations, correct?
Right,
Okay.
So then we vote,
let's vote.
okay. So we have a vote on myself being the chair for
Aye.
this coming year. All these in favor say aye.
Hi,
Hi.
I
Anybody oppose? I oppose.
Yeah,
All right.
push yourself.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. So then we'll move in then to the election of the vice chair.
And we have Kathy nominating, we have Kathy
Yeah.
nominating Jim.
Jim. Anyone else will say it all, or otherwise? All those in favor of Jim being continuing to be vice chair, say aye,
hi,
or raise your hand, we'll say. Maybe,
did you hear that?
I don't know.
Jose, did you hear that?
I did not.
Oh. So, Kathy, nominated Jim to continue as vice chair. And then we're gonna do, go ahead and vote unless you had a nomination.
No, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so I guess I or raise your hand and then we're good.
Oh,
I think it's cut now.
do you think it would help? Is this the sound panel up here also? Do you think as chair, you might want to?
I can move closer.
I'm just wondering.
I can hear you just fine. I think Jose's video is frozen because when he.
Yeah, I was gonna say, 'cause I don't see
We
the
may
video.
have lost
Okay.
him.
Yeah, we can't really proceed without him.
Nope.
Well, we do have 3 out of 4, so,
Could he participate using chat?
yes. Oh,
Could he
there's
what?
Kevin's on now.
Kevin too.
Oh, hi,
We-
Kevin.
We just have to have 4 total, right?
No, we have 4 people at the meeting, and then it's the vote at the meet of those present.
No, I know, but we have more stuff we have to vote on, and if he bounced off, he would. not
Oh,
be
I
here.
see what you're saying.
But now
I see
Kevin's
what
here, we're
you're
good.
saying. Yeah.
We should be all
gotcha.
right now.
Gotcha.
Jose, can you hear us?
I can hear you now.
Okay, and Kevin, can you hear us? Okay, perfect. So just to recap, we went through and we skipped the minutes and went to the election of the chair. Jim nominated me to continue as chair, which we voted on, and then Kathy nominated Jim to continue as vice chair, which we voted on. And then we were going to move into the approval of the minutes. Is the next item up?
So motion carried for Jim?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. So
Okay.
any questions, or I'll entertain a motion for that as well? Wait, that minutes has trolley stuff on it?
No,
Right.
that's fine. That's fine. I mean, it's just the minutes and how they're recorded. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
We on the way in, because I work for Badger, Kathy had said that it's more PC if there's something directly Badger related that I don't abstain from the vote, that I remove myself
If
from
it's
the
a
room,
conflict, this is what I learned in government.
which I'm
101,
fine with. I
that we
didn't use
actually
a word
leave
that.
so that the conversation doesn't,
That makes sense.
so.
So,
But this is just approval of the minute.
Okay.
So this is not about that, so.
so we can entertain a motion on the approval of the minutes from June 15th meeting.
I'd move approval.
All right. And a second.
I second.
All right, Jose seconded. All those in favor say aye, or you can raise your hand from afar.
Aye.
Anybody? No, that was everybody, so nobody opposed. Motion carries. So we can move into group updates.
On the staff report from last Friday.
Oh,
The staff report from the Friday before last.
What was it?
What with Laura.
Oh. She never gave me permission to
Okay.
make the
Okay.
announcement, but maybe I'll just do it informally. For those of you who don't know, Laura Ports had a baby boy. On July 10th, he made his debut 2 weeks early, but mother and son are doing fine, and the director is a little harried because I'm trying to catch up on some of the things that we weren't able to tie up before she departed, but very happy for Laura, and she will be out until approximately the first week in October, and then she'll be coming back on a part-time basis.
That's so cool.
So it's the Mari and Julie show for a while.
So cool. I said, that's what you can't see in Zoom.
Right.
Either one of you, I guess, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, hotel?
sure. As kind of mentioned as we gathered here, but the hotel is definitely seeing an uptick in both transient and group business that's not only hanging on for this year, but inquiring about, the first quarter and second quarter of next year. So started to come in fast and furious, which is a positive thing. We sold out last weekend with group, and we've got a real solid week coming up. But I think the most positive thing and the surprising thing is that we're really starting to see it at our property in particular, an uptick in individual travel, which is a good sign. Epic is starting to sprinkle some rooms in, and Epic is going back to all in-person training starting in September.
Great.
So that's positive.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Having anything from Capital Brewery?
Things are pretty much back to normal for us. I mean, it's, if not busier than 2019. So
Yeah.
Fridays have been great. We are getting calls nonstop for events and parties and weddings. And so everyone's getting caught back up for missing 2020.
Awesome. Jose?
It was dropped off.
Oh, yeah. Must have lost his connection.
Oh,
There he is.
back.
Jose, anything to report on from the Hubbard Avenue Diner?
I'm sorry, I just were able to reconnect. In terms of what exactly,
How business is going?
foot traffic is pretty heavy.
Ooh,
So things are going as well as they could be. We're definitely very short staffed, so we're doing the best we can, but customer wise, we got plenty.
Yeah, and I actually just chatted with Michelle from NCG today and they're kind of echoing what you are. They're very busy and having a hard time keeping up with a short staff. It's been the issue.
Mhm. I
Yeah,
think I think everybody's experiencing that. I know statewide, nationwide, I'm sure as well.
Yeah.
Kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Did you wanna?
We have a couple of things. Yeah, Mari, did you want to jump in with a marketing RFP update for the group?
Sure. So the last time we all spoke, we were going out to RFP for a marketing agency. I distributed the RFP July 8th to 12 agencies. 11 of them are local and then one Milwaukee agency, the agency we hired to do our rebrand. We of course sent the RFP to them as well. Questions were due Monday, but I didn't receive any. And so the proposals are due by 5 p.m. this Thursday, and then we will go through them and hopefully select up to 3 candidates for interviews, which we are going to schedule out for. It's either going to be August 4th or August 5th. Julie leaves for vacation on the 6th, and I think there was something going on earlier that week. So those were the 2 dates that week that worked well for us. And we have a selection committee consisting of Julie, myself, Kristen Parent from the Chamber, Diane Morgenthaler, who used to be with Destination Madison, and Kevin. So we'll get that all scheduled out once we choose our candidates. Very busy in marketing right now.
Who's Diane Morgenthaler with now?
She's in transition
Oh, okay,
at the moment.
okay,
Her last day was, I believe it was July 9th.
okay.
They had some reorganization at Destination Madison and they were moving in a direction that wasn't one she wanted to be going in, and she just decided to
She's
explore other
A
opportunities.
lot of options out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
right,
her.
especially, yeah.
We wish her well. She was a good partner for Middleton Tours.
Absolutely.
A couple of things from me then, Mari, if that's it for you.
That's all I have on the RFP.
Okay, thank you. PPP loan, I filed for forgiveness of that loan on July 15th, so we're waiting to hear back from the bank, or the lender, I should say, on whether that was approved or not. I don't have any concerns about it, and the lender that I'm working with seemed to think all of our paperwork was in order. So that was a nice little shot in the arm for operational expenses as it related to human resources. I received the STAR report, which is the report that tracks occupancy trends, average daily rates, a whole myriad of other information. And the news is good. Our occupancy rate in the month of June, the average was 51.6%. And that was up from 15.7% in 2020. However, we're still a little bit behind where we were in 2019. We were at 67.8% in that year. But the good news is we're climbing, and we're climbing steadily. And it sounds like Q3 is going to be what we anticipated Q3 was going to be. Crazy busy. The average daily rate in the month of June was $87.52. That was up from $81.04 in 2020, but we're still trying to play catch up with 2019. The average daily rate that year was $128.55. And again, the reason I'm watching that pretty closely is that directly impacts what the room tax collection is going to be. So good news is we continue to escalate there.
ADR is coming up. That's a far cry from 60s and 70s.
Oh, right. right.
I think we're gonna see a big shot in the arm in the next month.
Yeah, I think September and October.
July was held down because there wasn't
be
a whole lot of
crazy.
certainty, I think.
Yeah,
For June, I should say.
right. If they can just keep the variant under control, we'll be okay.
Yeah. Yep.
That's all for me, Corey.
All right, and we can move into our grant applications. First item up is the 2021 Sports ETA Symposium. Brandon, are you there?
I sure am. How is everyone?
Hey, Brandon.
Hey there.
Hey there. Good to see you guys. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm glad to see Corey especially. So,
Why don't you have your camera on? I was gonna give you grief for it.
well, you know,
Bad
I
hearing,
can,
Brandon?
I can turn it on. Can you see me now?
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Now you can turn it
Alright.
up.
I didn't know if you guys wanted to see me or not, so. I'm alive and well. Great. So yeah, thank you for letting me hop in here and present the grant request. This is for 2021 Sports ETA Symposium. So this year's event, this is our big leading sports event industry conference of the year. And this year it's October 25 through the 28th in Birmingham, Alabama. So the request is to send myself to cover registration fees and any travel expenses for us to attend that event. Little background, this event is historically one of our largest on our calendar. So there's usually about 1,000 in attendance. We'll see it's the first in-person sports event in a while. So I think I do think that attendance is going to be pretty high. So we'll see if we hit that 1,000 number, but it usually includes over 100 sports events, rights planners, a lot of face-to-face meetings. Typically we have about 25 to 30 10 to 15-minute appointments that were set up at this time. So it's great networking. Good to see what opportunities are out there for the future. We've had success landing. USA Boxing actually came out of this event. Everyone's favorite Major League Quidditch there in Middleton. And then, things like USA Curling and Lacrosse. But it's a really good opportunity not only to network for us at the Sports Commission and speak on behalf of places like Middleton and bringing events to the Marriott, as well as some of your other facilities there, but also learning best practices through some of the educational sessions. So I'm happy to answer any questions the committee has right now.
Brandon, I have a question. How many people from MASC are going? Is it just you?
No, Jamie will also be in attendance with me. So there'll be two of us from MASC, or
And
would be, sorry.
You're asking for the funds to sponsor yourself to go. And then Jamie is getting funds from another source, is that?
Yeah, it'd come out of our budget. Yep. So this request is just for my attendance, to cover registration and then transportation and lodging and things like that.
How many other communities are part of this MASC? Is it more than Middleton?
Brandon, do you know if the regional partners are making contributions to MASC and or Destination Madison? Cities like Verona, Fitchburg, Sun Prairie. I know Monona has been in on some of our calls.
Not in terms of like an individual grant request like this, but as far as funding, yes.
Funding would, as far as,
I think they have an agreement that's similar to the type of agreement that we have with them. They will give them a percentage of room tax funds.
okay.
What do we have left, or do we have everything left for their?
In the, we have 10K left in the budget. 20K was granted for the US curling.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
championships back in January, I think that was, that you had requested.
Yeah. And we have the verbal on that. We're just trying to close everything up, so fingers crossed that we should be getting news on that soon officially.
So have we sponsored your expensive on previous events like this?
Yeah, previously it was called NASC. So it's called the National Association of Sports Commission. So they rebranded to Sports ETA, but yeah, we have applied for this grant request in the past, from my understanding. Julie, if you recall, I'm pretty sure we
We
have.
did, Brandon, and when I went back and looked at my spreadsheet, I didn't see it by name, but I did see NASC. So now that's resonating with me.
Are you? Go.
And I think,
Did you?
I think we've given you funds to attend that in the past 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds correct. Yeah, I was trying to find it too, and then when I searched under NASC, it showed up.
So when he goes, does he concentrate on getting business from Middleton? Because they're sponsoring him, not just the Madison area, but more in Middleton? Because
Are you representing the region, Brandon, or are you specifically talking about Middleton when you go?
But we represent the whole region when we
Okay.
go.
Is there any way to call out Middleton while you're there?
I mean, we could brainstorm how that would, I'm not sure how that would look, but we'd be open to it. If that's,
Brandon, what I'm feeling is that Middleton's doing a lot of the financial backing of this, as opposed to some of the other committee or other communities.
sure.
Is that a fair statement? I mean, I don't, unless I'm missing
Yeah,
something.
I'm not sure how the.
Because if we
Money was
already we already contribute to MASC just like all the other communities. And we're being asked to contribute for your expenses to go to this, and none of the other communities are being asked for that or have not agreed to it, correct?
Do the other communities have a grant fund like we do?
Not as robust as yours. There are, I believe, some funds available through Verona, more on like the event side, but not nearly as organized, I guess. We've had a lot more, I guess, success with placing events in Middleton in particular.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
I'd like to add that, in past years, I've traveled to shows with Brandon. And, this year I've not allocated any funds or requested any funds to attend anything. And honestly, even if I had, I probably wouldn't be able to get away from the office for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
So, I do know that sitting in these one-on-one meetings, one of the first localities that gets brought up because of our hotels, because of our meeting space, the number of hotels we have, the amenities that we have here, the Middleton High School fields, that Middleton does get brought up quite heavily in those conversations, for sure.
Well, that's what I was kind of hoping to hear, is
Yeah.
that this is a direct benefit to Middleton.
Yeah, so from a hotelier standpoint, I would say that, Brandon getting out to these shows would be extremely beneficial to us, for sure.
Right. I just want to make sure that Middleton's getting a fair return on
Agreed.
sponsoring your attendance, so.
Yeah,
Just-
absolutely. And the benefit of sending 2 versus 1 is it just allows Jamie and I to float like butterflies in different directions and really
Oh, it's
spread out and
sound off, it's definitely to have 2 people is definitely a good idea.
Are they appointments?
Yeah.
They're scheduled appointments, right, Brandon?
Yep, we usually get around 25 on average at this. So there's like a portal, and then you pick the ones that you want. So we have a say in the ones that we think are the best fit. So that might be a way for us to think through ones that are best, fits for Middleton based on the assets you have in terms of some of the sports facilities. So that's a consideration we can obviously take in to request it. But yeah, we do represent all of Dane County as well. So we're, here to win it for Madison in general, but like to Jim's point, we've had a lot of success with you all in particular, because I think just of your understanding of the sports world and what it takes to win some of these events. So that collaboration is huge for us.
Well, and the economic impact from USA Boxing,
Right.
I would assume is probably
Yeah.
returned on everything that we've
Yeah.
put into that show. It was big.
Yeah.
Because I remember in North Central, we got a ton of it too.
Yeah.
So one of those events.
Restaurants.
Well, I'd make a motion to approve the request for the funds. Was 4,500? Was that what I read? 4,500 to send Brandon to the Sports ETA Symposium.
All right. Second, Enro?
I second.
Jose seconds. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
I
Aye.
And that was everybody, so nobody opposes, so the motion carries.
Great. Thank you all. I appreciate it. And please tell Laura congrats for me, Julie and Mari, whenever you see her. I didn't even know she was pregnant. So that's great.
It's COVID, Brandon.
I know.
We're all
Well,
siloed.
And I had a baby boy at the end of May too. So we're both like in the same sleep schedule, I'm sure.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I didn't want to turn my camera on. I didn't want you to see the bags under my eyes.
Oh, that's right.
Oh.
You look terrific.
All right, great seeing you
Give
all.
her your
And
regards.
yeah, will do. Thanks.
Take care.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you.
Bye.
All right. So the next thing I'm actually up,
This is the one.
I'm gonna try to give you a complete synopsis of this. So when I was with North Central, we applied for a grant, which I believe was $27,000-ish that was approved either late last year or early this year. I can't remember. It was probably late last year. And that was that was last fall, because that was really prior to knowing like some of these motor coach shows. Most of them went virtual at the beginning of the year. So that left us with, did you get the check back? Yeah.
Check is in the mail.
All right, so then when I left North Central, I've been actually in regular contact with them to see what they want to do in like kind of like Marriott. They're very short staffed, so they don't have the resources to really do anything right now. And so they elected to just return the grant, and the refund was 16 something.
$16,993.68.
So just shy. So, and it's a huge number, but the reason, like I said, most of that came back was because when the shows went to virtual, they're $500 versus, 3,500 or whatever. So that was mostly the first part of the year. And then about a month ago, I had approached Julie, because knowing that they were not going to be able to really do anything, we still had two, or I guess major shows left for this year that are actually going to be in person. So there's a IPW show that's on there, and then there's an NTA Travel Exchange show that's on there. The question came up then, now that I work for a vendor, is that a conflict of interest? So Julie and I kind of went back and forth and talked to Mike Davis about it, and legal as well.
So I think it was just me.
And determined that it would. And so I actually reapproached Julie, because many of you may or may not know, I actually own a tour company. I have owned it for like 4 years now. It's basically focusing on bringing business into the area. I did that in cooperation with the hotel side to bring in more business. To give you an idea of what that looks like, I just actually had a group here about 4 weeks ago that stayed 2 nights in Middleton. They did mustard bites, they did all kinds of stuff in and around the area. So that's kind of what that looks like. So it's doing the same thing and kind of bringing that in, bringing that business, just focusing on bringing it here. And it's also located here now, obviously, because I live here. We started off in Milwaukee, but now it's located here in Middleton as well. So then went back to Julie, and she talked to Mike again and deemed that would be okay to apply for a grant. So that's kind of where we're at now. So what I had really planned on doing at both of these is really not any different than what I was doing before. Is just representing the city. The hotel side of things, I actually kind of threw this out to Julie about, now that we're starting the trolleys, I might try to stop into the hotels. And help with maybe some marketing and stuff like that. And, it'll just give me an opportunity to get back in the hotels. I obviously know what I need to know with the North Central ones, but the other ones, just to maybe do a tour.
Well, I just wanted to say hello.
Hi.
So good to see all of you. So good first in-person meeting, right?
Right, we're getting there.
Yeah,
Feels good. No cakes yet.
where tourism is on the mend.
Awesome, thank you.
Where was I? Oh, yeah, so kind of to get back into, the hotels and whatnot, from the city standpoint with the attractions and restaurants and stuff, I already do that with the tour side of things, so I'm already very, very well versed on that, so it would just more or less be collaborating with Julie and Mari and getting like an up-to-date marketing piece. And Middleton would be showcased, like I said, nothing's really gonna change, it's all the same. And it's quite a bit less too, so Middleton will net back at least $10,000, and I already spoke with Julie and it operated the same thing. Keep the accounting down, together, and whatever's not used will just return back. So that's pretty much what I think, what I got. Anything to add, Julie? Did I miss anything?
It's a good opportunity for Laura as well with motor coach groups. We were just starting to develop that part of her role with tourism. So I'm very supportive of keeping this moving forward.
Yeah.
And from everything I've seen and read so far, it sounds like motor coach is making its slow return.
I mean, yeah,
Just
they're
like
traveling.
everything else.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And the one thing I actually forgot to, like in terms of leads, if leads do come in directly to me, I'm just gonna hand them off to them and they'll use your simple view, right? You can
Mhm.
send out a lead that way or
Yeah.
send it out however you want and kind of take it from there. Whether the receptive side of my tour side, obviously I can work with it direct, but could be with them direct as well. So I think it's a good opportunity, and yeah, let me know if you guys have questions, let me know.
I support it for the exact same reason. I support Brandon getting out there and I'm supporting him to get out there. I think it's no, the only difference is that you are specifically doing Middleton versus Brandon is doing the entire area.
Right.
Our assets in Middleton make us an asset for
Yeah.
Brandon's efforts for the sports commission, which means we're the business from it. With Corey directly marketing Middleton, I think it's a no brainer.
Mhm.
And if you would wish, I can step out if you want. I don't know if I need to or not, but otherwise you can entertain a motion.
You said Mike has already got this.
Yeah, Mike's already well aware.
Well, I think Mike would not steer us wrong. And he would be always on the side.
We had a lot of conversation, good conversation about it.
I'd make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 That was everyone. Motion carries. All right, cool. Thanks a lot.
Now get to work.
All right. More work, just what I need, right? I enjoy it, so no, it's gonna be good and I'm glad to keep it going. That was, when I was leaving the hotel side, that was one side, I'm like, gosh, you're working on this for 10 years. I don't want it to just, pull the cord on it, so.
Well, and I think from my perspective, we were just starting to make some inroads
Yeah,
in Circle, Wisconsin, and with some of our promotional materials, some of the things that we're talking about doing in the visitor guide. Excuse me, are positioning us to be a good destination for that particular market, or at least a stopover as they're moving from like a Minneapolis to Chicago or other points in the country. So I'm pretty excited about getting back on track with that. We kind of lost our momentum when the pandemic hit.
and as these experiences start to get rolling again, it's only gonna help our area.
Yeah.
That's been my biggest advocate, has been the experiences, for something to sell, because we don't have that like House on the Rock or whatever in Madison, but like those experiences really kind of, they help us to that level, so. It's been doing well. So we can move forward to the Sports Specialist Annual Dealer Show. This is a grant, right?
Yes.
New grant, or is it,
No, this would be the third year
Third year.
that they've been in Middleton. They took a pause last year.
that's right, okay.
Jim, is there anything you'd like to contribute about this group? I think you work directly with Tom. didn't you?
Yeah, I work directly with Tom. They do draw visitors in from a pretty large swath, primarily Midwest, but from across the country, Midwest and Great Plains, I should say. These are outdoorsmen. So that's obviously one of our great draws here in Madison with the lakes and Middleton with the lakes. It's a great group for the hotel. They do cater the majority of their meals. So that is one drawback that I will readily admit, is that, the people probably don't get out of the hotel, but maybe one night out of the 3 that they're there. But it is, 500 to 700 people, if I remember correctly. And they're a great group. They're a great group.
I think at the beginning too, we had somewhat of a challenge making sure like overflow rooms stayed in Middleton, but
Yeah.
Tom did actually make a pretty good effort the last time they had it, and then when we are supposed to have it last year to make sure that all of them were booked.
Yeah.
Here, or at least we were given first right of refusal. I feel like their first year it was over a busier time frame, and he was able to get cheaper rates, or it
Yep.
was something along those lines, but
Yep.
we're at least getting first right of refusal, and I know he's been reaching out and trying to do that for this year as well.
Yeah, he had a hard time in 19 because we were under construction, so.
Yeah.
We were way under availability on his block, and he kind of in the last minute had to kind of get out there. I know that you were able to help him out.
Yeah.
And, some of them might went over the line into Wisco, but that might have been just due to availability at NCG as well at that time.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I think
Tom's a professional and.
It came to our attention when I did a follow-up call with him after 2018, that he had room blocks outside of Madison. I mean, literally, it's like 4 feet across the border, right,
Right.
where these hotels are.
Right.
And so I just expressed my concern about that we were giving him grant funds and that we had other properties in Middleton. And had he tried to negotiate anything with them? So when it came up in 2019, we actually put a contingency on the approval. And I'll read what that said to you. Applicants submit an RFP to Middleton Hotels to choose to overflow rooms at Marriott Group rate. Hotels that agree to offer the rate would be listed as overflow hotels for the event. So I don't know if that's anything that you want to consider
Yeah, we want to keep the same.
stipulating to him.
Same
Mhm.
contract.
And to Corey's point, I know he's trying because he reached out to me
Yeah,
and said that he had made contact with Corey in the spring and hadn't heard anything back. So I let him know there was a new person, and I think he reached out to her immediately.
I think he tried to reach out after I was gone.
Yeah.
Cause I talked to him probably 3 months ago. It was a while ago.
Well, he was okay with the verbiage in there from last time.
He was.
I think we just did first right of refusal because we technically can't require the rooms, because what if they're sold out, or what if everybody's full?
Right.
So it's just making sure that he made, an effort to bid or book everything here first.
That's an easy mistake.
One other thing I'll add is that, I found this program online that had been at the Olympia. And I reached out to them and I did use, our fantastic grant program and the Green Bay Station area, because they're used to being at a resort and having it all in one place. I'm like, well, we're not a resort, but we've got all the amenities that you can think of within walking distance of our hotel. Plus, we've got this great grant program that you would probably apply for. So, the strength of those things are what won his business and brought it to Middleton after 17 years. So, and it wasn't because the Olympia closed, it was, we took them before Olympia closed down.
You caused Olympia to close?
I mean, that could have been one of the dominoes. It could have been like, oh, that's a big show. But yeah, they're good. They're good group.
Denison.
Oh, my Lord. They were their own worst enemies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't have a catch, that's what he's thinking.
So any questions or can entertain a motion?
I would make the motion to approve with the verbiage that was carried over from last time, asking for consideration for the Middleton hotels.
And a second?
Being that this is at my hotel,
Oh,
I'll second.
All right, seconded by Jose. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
I.
Aye.
Your hotel usually making more.
Jim, do you want to oppose it?
No. Say aye.
Motion
All day
carries.
long. Otherwise,
Right,
Tom
what a
will be-
team player,
Tom will
John.
be calling me tomorrow.
Why on earth did you lose it?
Did you do?
All right, cool.
Thank you, everybody.
That first number is huge.
Now we get to move into the fun stuff.
Yeah.
So, Julie, this
You want me
is,
to just roll?
this is your item,
All right.
2021 budget. review.
Off we go. So a couple of things on the report here. As you can see, our income is pretty low for the first quarter. And we did get that little bump here from the PPP loan. But we still have a long way to go to get to 943,000 and some change. I'm gonna leave the forecast the way it is right now and wait until the second quarter numbers come in. And then see where we are. I think for Q3, what we forecasted for Q3, we're gonna be pretty close to being spot on.
Yeah.
Because we anticipated that was gonna be a pretty heavy quarter. And then I would guess it's gonna fall off.
Yeah.
In November, December.
Yeah, the first 2 weeks at the hotel are pretty strong. You know, there's a Nebraska football game in the middle of November, which will help Middleton in general. I mean, that's usually as well for all the home games too. So,
Yeah,
and then we've got TeslaCon that first week. So I think occupancy the first 2 weeks
Oh,
of
he's looking
November.
forward with Chesapeake.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we're sold out already for.
Okay. Oh, that's
4 or
awesome.
5 nights. So the first 2 weeks of November look solid, and I
Good.
think you're gonna see it nosedive, but and then probably the usual for December, but yeah, I think Q3 and then into second week of November will look pretty good.
Awesome. Rolling on down here to trade show grants. We put a pretty large sum of money into trade show grants, anticipating that some of these national events were gonna come back in 2021, and to Corey's point, most of them haven't. So I'll be making some adjustments on this line. Are you planning to go to the 2 events that we budgeted for you?
It's,
I haven't even heard anything about IMEX, so
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing.
yeah, I don't either. Let me look into it and see what I think that I'm gonna be
Okay.
able to make. It's really gonna depend on if I'm gonna be able to get away from the hotel, unfortunately.
Even so, I don't think we had a large sum budgeted for you,
It
like
wasn't.
maybe
I
6,000
think
for
that was about
for
right.
2 events.
Yeah.
So I think most of this is going to be adjusted down. Destiny partnerships, we're still, I'll leave that alone. City branding, the Landmarks Commission is making some headway on the landmark plaques, the historical markers on the historical buildings, which we had committed to cover the expenses for 3 or 4 years ago. So we just keep carrying that along, but I think it's finally gonna get spent this year.
Well, we want the landmarks to be really old before we.
Yeah,
You're weathering them.
really worthy of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave the brochure expenses the way it is. We only spent $5,000 on what we did for 2021. However, we're changing agencies. And I think will be billed in 2021 for 2022. For some reason, Pilch and Barnett always carried that expense over into the following year. And I think it was because the printing of the brochure of the visitor guide took place in the following year. So I'm trying to get it in the year for the year. So it's an actual expense. Moving on to the next page. I'm not going to make any adjustments on anything here. Right now, we're probably gonna be over what I had thought we'd be spending on this building maintenance project. But we can have a more in-depth discussion about that next month. The only line here that we've gone over so far is in training, and that's because there are memberships that are in here. And I paid all of the memberships in 2021 in full. We had an option to split the payments, and I'd rather just get it in the year for the year and not carry it over. However, if you look at the travel line, we have plenty of money to work with for here. So there still are a couple of things that staff will be participating in Q3 and Q4 for training and development. The other expenses are the city attorney, just a reminder that we have an unofficial line for them. And then, of course, our other big expense is the trolley, and that will be adjusted way down. We'll have to have a discussion next month on extending the service into September and October, or however long we think we want to go. I'm kind of feeling, based on what I heard the hotel group say, that we probably should consider extending into the weekends. We had.
Any thoughts on having the Thursday come downtown to the concerts and stuff through August, or?
Maybe,
One thing I wanted to.
I think, oh, excuse me, go ahead.
I was just gonna say one thing to throw out with the trolley. Probably gonna need to make a decision on that sooner rather than later, driver shortages.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah,
Okay,
there,
you're not gonna jump in?
I might be driving, we'll see, I go for my road test tomorrow, so.
Would you like to drive on
hopefully I
Thursday night?
pass. I threw it out to John about the parade too, and he said, if you want.
Yeah. Actually, that was kind of why I was hesitating,
Okay.
because John's experiencing a shortfall.
Shortage. Well, that's.
So, yeah, it's just one of those things, if,
Yeah, in just a couple hours, we can have.
well, if we were gonna extend, we would have to. That, our next meeting's probably not gonna work for that, would it?
The agreement that I had with him was mid-August.
Okay, sounds good.
So I think we're fine. He
Okay.
hasn't pressed me. The numbers for the first weekend were 50 on Friday and 100 on Saturday,
We're good.
which exceeded my expectations.
Yeah.
I hopped on last Friday night just to run the route for an hour and talk to folks that were on the trolley. And Corey was
I
on
brought my kids on.
with his two kids. I talked to a couple that was here from Dubuque, and they said we were gonna Uber
Yep.
to downtown, and then we found out about this trolley, and this is really awesome. We're just gonna ride this trolley around while we're visiting.
Are you guys
So-
running shuttle at all, still or?
You're not, we have 2 airline crews.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, shortage.
Chewing that up.
That's all we can do. We're running to the airport and back 6 times a
Yeah.
day for these crew rooms.
I did talk to Michelle today too, and their North Central shuttle, it's on hold,
Really?
so.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not doing regular shuttle. So I mean, and that to that point, I mean, I think that we are now, the one position that we're able to hire pretty quickly is front desk, it seems. So, you know, these people are new, and maybe I need to put forth a better effort to get them to market this trolley at check-in to all of these guests to get ridership up. You know, I mean, it's really incumbent on these front desk agents to educate these guests that it's available.
And maybe we can go around on Fridays and just remind people
You know, yeah, I mean, anything wouldn't hurt.
that it's gonna be running.
The other thing that I was thinking about is being that we're not doing a regular shuttle anymore, and the ones that we're running are smaller, is we could move the trolley stop up to the main hotel entrance rather than the conference center entrance.
Right now, we're having an issue with the trolley actually running longer than 30 minutes.
Okay,
That was part of the reason why I took a ride last week, and it's really only off by 5 minutes. We can do it in 35. So we're trying to figure out how we can make a slight adjustment to the route to get it
Yeah.
to 30 minutes. I think probably pulling up to the front might take more time
Okay, okay.
than,
Yeah, you're right. 'cause it's
than
easier
where
to
we
make
are
that bigger
now,
loop
because
come
it's
out.
just, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But for 5 minutes
Um,
for each loop, though, that adds up, by the time.
Well, and we added another hotel, and now we have to go further out down, is that Murphy Drive, Eagle? Wherever the Holiday Inn Express is,
Yeah.
which means they have to come back down University and then circle back around to catch that hotel. The good thing about it is they're passing through downtown twice.
Yeah.
So if you hop on at the Marriott, you can get off in downtown in like 10 minutes before it makes that loop
Yeah.
out to the Holiday Inn and then swing back.
Yeah.
I think if anything, my recommendation to John at this point would be to drop the Willie Street
Mm.
stop. And when I talked to the driver, Mike, on Friday night, he said he did have some people that had gone there. So I'd like to go another weekend with the road as it is and just get some more feedback from the drivers
Yeah.
on where people aren't getting on and getting off.
I wonder if you
And-
didn't drop Willie, though, what else? Which drop?
Yeah, I said, we're kind of between a rock and a hard place because we really need to go to every hotel.
Yeah, because if you don't drop Willie, then I feel like just from looking at it, it's that versus consolidating hotels.
Yeah,
Is what it would probably come down.
and
to.
it takes a little bit longer now at the Marriott because we used to stop on Greenway Boulevard in front of the Marriott, which I never thought was very safe. to
Fairfield.
begin, Especially if there's traffic. Fairfield,
Yeah.
thank you, sorry, Fairfield. And so now we're pulling into the Fairfield, going around the front of the building and circling back around the back and going out, and that's added a couple more
There's
minutes.
something at Walgreens too. Is that
We
another-
took Walgreens off
Okay,
when we
that's
added
already
the
done.
other hotel.
Okay. But that's just.
If
not
there's really
coming out
nothing else,
to
I
take-
mean, that's gotta make up 5 minutes. 2 minutes there and back, I would think, or 2.5.
Well, and it's traffic and it's stoplights.
Yeah.
That might be the other thing that would help. So I'm still talking it through with John, but I think the good news is people are on it and we're seeing a return on the investment from the guests that are in the hotel.
Yeah.
I think there were a fair number of residents that hopped on while I was there too.
I heard our neighbors went on the ride and loved it.
Oh, good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So more discussion on the trolley next month when we do the deeper dive into the 2022 budget, but we'll review that as part of the reforecast. So bottom line, excuse me, for us is that we're operating year to date with a shortfall of 144,000 and some change, let's just say 145. The governor has announced that he is going to be giving 15 million of the ARPA funding that has come to the state to destination marketing organizations, but so far we haven't heard anything on the application process for that. I know the Department of Tourism managed it last year, and the interim secretary mentioned that it was really a big problem for them because they're just not set up to be doing that kind of activity, which means it will probably now go through the Department of Administration and the Department of Revenue. Might be a little more complex on our end than it was last year, but the good news is the funds are available. We have a Destination Wisconsin meeting on Thursday and Friday of this week, so I hope to learn more about what our organization is doing to kind of nudge the money along because folks need it.
Yeah. for
And-
sure.
It takes a while for it to actually come to.
No, is that already approved? The governor's approved it. It's a matter of, or it still has to be voted on yet?
No, it's been approved,
Okay.
so just needs to get disseminated.
There, and it's on your radar, so
It
it's
is
gonna happen.
big time,
My
I mean,
radar.
big time on my radar. Does anybody have any questions on where we are year to date? And then lastly, I would just remind you that we do need to review Destination Madison's agreement. That's up for renewal at the end of this year. The trolley agreement is also up for renewal at the end of, or excuse me, up for renewal at the end of 2022. However, we can discuss that annually. There is a condition in the agreement that says the agreement is subject to the city budget. So if there are any issues from that perspective, we can continue to negotiate. I think that's it for budget. Yes. So if there are no questions, we can move on. Thank you.
Simple view.
And I guess the last item is mine. Simple View. I asked them if they would consider giving us an extension on the agreement that we currently have. Again, I was trying to get this so that it was payable in the year for the year. And we were on a July to July agreement with them. So they have given us a 6-month extension with no increase in price. They have provided the agreement for the next 3 years, which I will start routing through the approval process. But I'll have that on the agenda for next meeting for us to take under advisement as we look at 2022.
Have you had to submit the department budget to Bill Burns yet?
I will be doing that. So that was the last item on my list.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to feel. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I just want to make sure I'm giving you
I'm sorry.
giving you the correct dates. Department budgets are due to the finance department on October 20th.
A long time.
So we will have an opportunity to review the budget and make any tweaks that we want to before I need to submit it.
And you're gonna wait until the October for sure, finding out what kind of numbers you're looking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think for the large part, I'm gonna go back and look at 2019. And base a lot of this budget on what we did in 2019.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be close to 2019 numbers
Yeah, I don't think it's.
as far as revenue.
I don't think we're gonna have to wait till 23 or 24 like a lot of people are saying.
Mhm,
Close to it anyways.
mhm. That is it for me, Mr. Chairperson.
All right. So I think, yeah, we're kind of nearing the end. So then I guess the next item up would be items for our next meeting agenda. I think we already probably threw some in there. Yeah, you said budget trolley. And does anybody
How
else?
about if we just say agreements?
Yeah.
Because we'll have the DM agreement. And Simple View for sure.
You said the marketing, right? Marketing agreement or the marketing proposals. Of course,
I
it'll be-
Oh, if we're lucky, we would have a marketing services agreement
Well,
to take under advisement. We can move it along that fast.
Marty's.
We'll definitely give you a branding.
Oh, I'm sorry, are you looking to me? I can't see.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I really was talking, I was talking out loud.
She committed you to something just ridiculous.
Just fun. Well, we're hoping to be able to do interviews that first week. If everything goes well, if the 3 interviews are going well, we're happy with them and we can choose with I believe I gave a 2-week window from interviews. So it'd be 2 weeks later, we would let the winning candidate know and the other 2 candidates know. And then we can begin the process of the contract. So I don't know if we'd have a contract in our little hands by the next commission meeting, but we should have a marketing agency
Clear.
chosen. Yes.
I will just put marketing agency, and that way, if there is something that requires
Update,
action,
yeah.
rather than update, which is basically information.
Okay. So you got everything? God, that's gonna be a long meeting. Yes and no.
Yeah. Yeah, the budget usually is a little bit longer
Yeah.
than others.
All right, anybody have anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Who wants their name in the minutes?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
And a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right,
Have a good evening, everyone.
see you guys. Have a good one.
Thank
Bye,
you. Have a good
guys.
night.
No.
Bye all.